Hi everybody, welcome back to SlipTwpKnit. I'm Shelby and I come to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, which is where I do my knitting. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. For those of you who are new, and I'm a little rusty, I haven't done this in about 6 weeks. My name is Shelby, as I also said, I'm from Shelby Township, Michigan. Locals around here refer to it as Shelby Twp or the Twipp. So as a result, I am Shelby from Shelby or Shelby from the Twipp, and I have incorporated that Twipp element into the name of my knitting podcast. So it's a mashup of the Twipp and the decrease stitch, slip slip knit, ergo SlipTwpKnit. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. I know it has been a while. I think it's been, I want to say it's been 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks. And the reason I know that is because the last episode I did was at the beginning of all this COVID stuff. And now it's almost the end of April. And I'm still stuck at home. So if you're a returning viewer, you might also notice that the setting is a little different. The reason for that being the room where I normally do my recording, which is our guest room or my sister's bedroom, but she doesn't live here anymore. That room is now my workspace, and when I'm not working, I do not spend any time in there at all whatsoever. That door is shut, and I'm not going to be opening it up again until I go back to work on Monday. So that's kind of what's been going on in my life right now. 6 weeks of staying at home, going from one room to the other, and just doing the things, doing the work things. And I'll talk a little bit about that potentially at the end of this episode, depending on how much time I use up. And in the meantime, it was 6 weeks ago. I think 6 weeks ago I had no finished objects, and this week, or this time, I have 3, which is really not that impressive because that's probably like 1 every 2 weeks. But I'm going to just enjoy the little things because that's all we can do right now. So the first one, which I had cast on in my last episode and I was working on, it was a hoe. These are my Felici socks. I finished these probably during that first week that I was home. I probably finished them within a couple of days of recording my last podcast. So a little bit about them. These were knit in Knit Picks Felici in the color Whale Song. It's a 6-color stripe. And then for my contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, I used Knit Picks Stroll in the color Sapphire Heather. One thing I did with these socks is I put a rib panel on the back of the sock, and then I also decreased from 64 stitches all the way down to, I either decreased to 60 or 56, but I think it was 56 that I decreased down to. The reason for that is because my calves are pretty wide, but then at the ankle things start to narrow out. I have narrow feet and narrow ankles, and I don't mind slouchy socks, but I don't want my socks to be too slouchy. So I'm happy with these. I'm happy with the way they've turned out. They keep my feet toasty warm, and they're they're fun. So I'm happy with my first ever Felici socks. I'll put those behind me now. Next up, these next two FOs were things that I cast on and finished within the last 6 weeks. So these are completely new and you haven't seen them before. The first pair are, these are the Whisper in the Wind socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. And the yarn is Mint Rain Tough Sock, which I believe is, oh god. One moment, I have the yarn cake somewhere. Is this it? Yes. So it's the 75-25. So Whispers in the Wind socks by Mint, Whispers in the Wind. The pattern is by the Crazy Sock Lady, and the yarn is Mint Rains Tough Sock, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon yarn. The color is called Blackhearted, and I really like this. And these socks knit up super fast. I knit them up in a week. It was super fun pattern, and I really loved working with this yarn. So these were incredibly fast. Let's see. Can you actually see what the pattern looks like? So it's kind of a fun pattern. I really enjoyed it. And actually the minute I saw this pattern, because Kay launched this pattern last fall, I actually volunteered to test knit it, but I didn't get picked, but that's fine. I'm enjoying them. Like I said, I love knitting them. They were super fun. But the minute they were released, I knew exactly what yarn I had in my stash that I was going to be using for it. Love this yarn. You're going to be seeing it again in this episode, just so you know. And I'm excited to work with more yarn from Mint Rains in the future. Not Mint Rains, it's just Mint Rain, singular. Rain, singular, Mint Rain. I wear these quite a lot, and it's been great. I mean, not a whole lot to say. I love them. They were super fun to make. I enjoy wearing them, and I love this yarn. Last FO, these are a gift, and I'm happy to finally be talking about them on my podcast because I need to send them to the person I made them for. These are slipper socks, and this is the Joe's Perfect Slipper Sock pattern by cozyupknits, and the yarn is Stitch Together Collective in the color, well, the color is called Lawn Ornament. And I made these for my friend Marissa, and I used it holding the yarn double. Marissa went to Minnesota for a month for work, and when she was there, she was hitting up some yarn shops. And she knows me pretty well. She knows I will sometimes just buy yarn because it has a funny name. And so when she went to the store, she went and asked them to find a yarn, to find a sock yarn with a funny name. And she found this Lawn Ornament color, which is pink and orange, and it has some greens in there, and it's got some like purpley pinks. So it's called Lawn Ornament, kind of like a lawn flamingo, and I really love it. And I knew that I needed to make Marissa something with that yarn, so this is what I made. I didn't do it right. I'll be very honest, I didn't do it right, but I tried them on and they fit my foot with a little bit of negative ease. And I know Marissa's feet are a little smaller than mine, so I'm hoping they fit. And I'm sure they will, but they're super fun. I already showed them to Marissa. She can't wait to get them. So now I have to get to the post office. And then there's still, and the great thing about this pattern's really easy. So I've been doing the fish kip, I've been doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So I did that on this sock for my first time ever. I'd never done the Fish Lips Kiss on a sock before. That was the first time. And then cozyupknits, they actually wrote the pattern to include Fish Lips Kiss, and I have to say I really love it. It's easy to remember. It's super easy to remember, and not a whole lot else to say. I need to make myself a pair of these as well. I held the yarn double for these, but I still had over 50 grams left of the skein when I was done. So definitely, you know, this is kind of a pattern that cozyupknits, that when they talk about it, they share it like it's a good one for scraps. And I would agree. I would agree. It also goes along, it also, depending on the size of the person's feet, I guess, it can also go a long way just with one skein. So I'm gonna make myself, I think I'm gonna make myself a coordinating or matching pair of slipper socks to go with Marissa's. Now on to whips, which I have 3. I feel like I've been casting on with reckless abandon, but I don't think so. I think I've just kind of been, well, no, because 2 of those FOs were completely new projects. So yes, I have been casting on with reckless abandon, because 2 of the 3 whips I'm about to share are also newer cast-ons. So I'm going to start with the first one, which I'm also going to say glory, hallelujah, because I'm working on my love note still chugging away. But I don't know if you can tell, I am literally like probably this close to being done with the second sleeve. I was actually really excited like an hour ago, because I thought I was a lot farther on the sleeve than I actually was. So I was a little disappointed for about 10 minutes, because I was like, I thought I was further along than I was with the sleeve, and I thought I was like so much closer to being done with the sleeve number 2, but that's okay, because the end is nigh. The end is nigh, folks, and I have most of a second sleeve, and the first sleeve is done, which you saw in the last one, which means once this is done, all I need to do is unpick this provisional cast on and do my neck, and then I'm friggin' done. This thing, I cast it on October 1st, so it's been on the needles for a while. Not to go too much into it, there have been some things that have happened with that sweater particularly that were a little demoralizing for a while, that prevented me from, they didn't prevent me from working on it, it just was not fun to work on it, because some things happened, like my wrap and turns for the hem, they weren't good, so I had to rip back, and I didn't like, oh my gosh, first and foremost, picking up that many stitches to rip back is a nightmare in and of itself. Then I decided to knit a little bit more before I did my wrap and turns for the hem, and then something happened with one of the sleeves. I had to rip back on one of the, I don't remember if it was this sleeve or the first sleeve. I had to rip back on a sleeve. And also, I really feel I need to point out, Sleeve Island is a very real place, and it's like that island on Lost. You don't really know what's going on. You have someone named John Locke who's mysterious and enigmatic and full of secrets, and you never get a straight answer out of him, and then you have this hole in the ground called the Hatch, and then there's this black smoke monster. And that's how I feel about Sleeve Island. Sleeve Island is essentially the island from Lost. which, by the way, off topic, Lost was a really great show and I loved it up until the last season. I don't talk about the last season of Lost. I'm done acknowledging it, like right now. But Lost was a great show. And it probably says a lot about me that I think so. You can judge me. I feel your judgment. It's fine. It's also like 11:45 at night. And I'm really thirsty. And I think I can hear it in my voice. I don't know if you can. But anyway. I had water before this, I promise. Okay. Project number 2 is a half-finished object. And it's very similar to one that you've seen before. Well, it's actually similar to 2 that you've seen before. Because I'm making another pair of Joe's Perfect slipper socks. But this pair's for my mom. And I'm holding the gray is Knit Pick Stroll and Dove Heather. And the purple is the Mint Rain Blackhearted. This is what I had left over from my Whispers in the Wind socks. So I'm on slipper sock number 2. And I'm really enjoying it. And my mom tried the first one on. I went ahead and finished it without her even trying it on. I just guesstimated. But she's where she's at. She liked it. It fit her well. She was happy with them because they were super snug and cozy. And this progress keeper is showing where I was when I decided to stop knitting the sock and like the part where you basically have to knit the sole flat for a minute before you do the heel. So what I've been doing is I've been holding the yarn when I have to do the heel or the toe or the cuff. I basically just hold whatever I drop whatever I'm working on with the purple, and I hold this yarn double with itself. I just add in this end. Super fun. I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to give it to my mom. They're really fun, and I like them. And then last whip, it is another sock. And this sock is the Vintage Fairy Lights pattern by Helen Stewart. Here's what it looks like up close. I'm on the boring part of the sock, but I think I'm gonna be doing a Fish Lips Kiss heel on this one too, coming up here soon. But what I need to do first is I've done what I did previously already. So this is actually like I said, this is my 3rd time working on the sock. I've ripped it out twice already. And the second time I ripped it out, I actually was already past the heel, but I wasn't happy with how the heel turned out. And I'm rubbish at picking up stitches and ripping back. And it was so bad that I just said, screw it. And I ripped the whole thing out and started over again. Which is fine because this section here in the middle is really fun in the scheme of things. So I'm looking forward to doing that on the second pair that I do. What I am doing right now is it's a rib pattern, but like I said, because my calves and feet are set up the way they are, I started out with 64 stitches and I've already decreased down to 56. So now I'm kind of just going forward at that stitch count to finish them up. I like this sock. Oh, and the yarn is super pretty. I got it at my local yarn store, Crafty Lady Trio, when they had Drag Queen Bingo, because the same day they had Drag Queen Bingo, they were having a trunk show with this yarn dyer, Cornbread and Honey. and this color is called Gingerbread House, and it's a Christmas color, which I thought was fitting for the Vintage Fairy Lights pattern, which has been in my Ravelry library pretty much for like 2 years, and I haven't found the right yarn for it. And I really like this. It's super fun, super festive. I don't believe in the Christmas box of socks. I like the idea. I'm a sock person. I wear socks year round. Doesn't matter what they look like. So I'd definitely be wearing these before the holiday season. But this part, like I said, this part is so fun. I would definitely recommend this pattern if you want to do a Christmas box of socks. And I also recommend checking out Cornbread and Honey because she has a lot of beautiful yarn in her shop right now. She has some that are like based on birds that I really like her Northern Cardinal color is so pretty. That's it for whips. As you can see, here's my knitting corner over here. That's where my stash is located, my Yarn Swift. The bag where I keep my Knit Picks DK weight yarn is also on top of, which is also coincidentally the bag where I keep my farmhouse cardigan, which I'm going to be working on again soon now that Love Note is almost done, because I'm actually using the same size needles for both of those. So that's kind of been difficult. Also, Sleeve Island. I'm on Sleeve Island for both of these projects. And like I said, as much as I loved the show Lost, I don't like being on Sleeve Island, which is very similar to being on the island from Lost. FYI. I am trying to get some yarn that will match for my golden hour. I haven't worked on the golden hour since the last episode just because I'm trying to figure out what to do with the yarn situation. And in the meantime, I'm just trying to think like the world has just lost its mind. Which is not to say like, I say the world's lost its mind. Things are unbelievable right now. The state of the world is just a little unbelievable right now. I've been working out of my house for 6 weeks. I haven't seen any of my coworkers in person in 6 weeks. Thank God for video chat. Video chats are saving my life right now. And when I say my nightly prayers, at least once a week I add in, thank you for video chat. Because it helps for work calls, and it also just helps. I've been using like Google Duo to talk to my friends. Oh. This isn't, I'm not counting this as an FO because I finished this. I want to say this is a project I finished before I ever started my podcast, but you've seen these before. These were the socks that I made for my friend Tony for her birthday last summer, but I forgot to weave the ends in on one of the toes, so she gave them to me to take home, and I never sewed the end in. I sewed the end in now. So Tony, when I see you in person again, or maybe I'll just run to your house and drop off a gift basket with these socks in them. But I finally sewed in the ends on these socks, and I'm actually feeling really proud of myself for it. Because, let's be real, what kind of friend takes somebody's socks home and doesn't fix them right away? I'm a monster. So, gonna wrap this up here shortly, but just kind of heading into what I want to talk about in the comments below. Right now, because everything is so crazy and a lot of things are messed up and unhappy. And actually, now that I think about it, no. Anyway, the state of the world is a little unbelievable right now. And the only reason I know I'm not going crazy myself is because everybody else is having the same experience pretty much. But the thing that's been helping me through this time is kind of, well, a couple of things. For me specifically, on a work day, on a normal work day, I've been getting dressed every morning. Getting dressed, washing my face, and putting on makeup. And that's really been helping me. Also exercising, going outside when it's nice here. It's Michigan. The weather's crazy. It's April and we've had snow, and I love snow. I love snow. I'm sick of snow. I want sunshine. I want to be able to go out on a walk around my neighborhood on my lunch break. And we've had quite a few days where I haven't been able to do that. But so the other thing that's really been helping me specifically is thinking about the things that I'm going to do when this is all over. So I'll repeat this again at the end, but comment below and tell me what are the things you are most looking forward to when the world returns back to whatever semblance of normal we're gonna have. So for me, I actually keep a list in my journal, and it's really silly. It's really silly. There are 2 things that I specifically want to do when this is all over. And like I said, these are silly. I want to eat sushi in a sushi restaurant. I realize Kroger makes sushi. I like Kroger sushi. I eat quite a bit of Kroger sushi. I want real sushi. Kroger sushi does not have shrimp tempura in it. I want those delicious shrimp tempura rolls. Okay, that's my favorite. I miss shrimp tempura rolls. The other thing is, and this is so silly because this isn't even barred, like I could do this if I wanted to. I'm so excited to go to Trader Joe's when this is over. I just want to go to Trader Joe's, and the only thing keeping me from, like, not the only thing, I have a hard time justifying going to Trader Joe's because I have to drive probably 15-20 miles out of my way to even go to Trader Joe's. It's like not worth it for me to drive all that way just to get dark chocolate peanut butter cups, you know. So I'm really excited to have a trip to Trader Joe's because I want to go to Trader Joe's so bad. So bad. Other things I'm looking forward to doing. Other things I'm really looking forward to doing. I really want, for some reason, I've decided that sometime this fall, or you know, sometime this later this year, maybe winter, I don't know, it's gonna be a while. I've decided I'm taking a long weekend trip to New York City. Completely out of character for me. I have never in my life had any desire to go to New York City, but for some reason COVID-19 has changed everything and I've decided I want to go. I want to go. I want to go to New York for some reason. I don't know why. And no. There are a lot of things I want to do, or a lot of things I want to see that just happen to be in New York. But I've never actually just wanted to go to New York for the sake of going to New York, you know? Like, I want to go to the Neue Gallery. I want to go to Sagamore Hill, which is on Long Island. There's just like weird, random things that happen to be in New York that I want to do. So I've decided, why not? Obviously, I'm not doing it anytime soon, but I might be doing it like November time because maybe not, I don't know. I mean, it depends. So much depends. And then the other things I want to do. So people don't know this about Detroit, but Detroit actually is a pretty good spot for museums, and only people from Detroit really know this. We've got some really great museums in this area. We've got some great activities. So I want to go, when this is over, I'm going to the Detroit Institute of Arts. I love the DIA. I haven't been to the DIA in probably a year and a half. I'm going to the DIA. I'm going to the zoo. And the other thing is, I'm going to Greenfield Village and the Henry Ford Museum because I love Greenfield Village. I love Greenfield Village. I don't care so much for the Henry Ford. I like the Henry Ford, but I like Greenfield Village so much more. It's one of those, I don't know, I think of it as a hidden gem, but that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to the places and I'm seeing the things. And it doesn't matter. I've been to Greenfield Village probably 10 times in my life. It doesn't really change that often. I don't care. Another thing I've been doing in addition to looking ahead, I also have hug people on my list, by the way. I miss hugs. I'm not a hugger. I really don't like hugs. I'm not much of a hugger. But holy crap, I miss human contact. I miss it so much. What else? Other things I've been looking forward to. I've been like thinking ahead and planning out knits. Which we'll see what happens. I'm thinking really long and hard about like color schemes I want to do. So the next sweater I do, once I finish Love Note and once I finish the farmhouse cardigan, I'm gonna do the Santa Fe, which is more of a shrug, but that's it by Isabel Kramer. I love that pattern. I've had that in my referee library for a long time, and I've been shopping around for like the right yarn, because I know, I'm pretty sure I know what color I want to do now. For a long time I was flip-flopping on color. At first I wanted to do it brown, and then I wanted to do blue, and now I'm gone in a completely different, well, now I've gone in a different direction. I'll just put it that way. I'm really excited, and I think I might buy that yarn for that project as my birthday present to myself. I'm also thinking about the sweaters. After that, I have another sweater pattern in my library that's been in there for as long as the farmhouse cardigan has been, and that's another pattern by Amy Christoffers, her Crow's Nest cardigan. So I'm thinking a lot about that. And then the other sweater I'm really thinking long and hard about is the Throwback cardigan by Andrea Mowry. And I think I've decided on what I want my color scheme to be for that one, so I'm really excited about that. But I also just have like a million other things I want to work on because I'm me, and my queue has gotten out of control, I'll be very honest. I still have to do my Cowboys and Angels shawl, which I'm pretty sure I have figured out. I figured out what yarn I want to use for that and what color. I just haven't bought it yet. It's a DK weight shawl, and I didn't realize that you need so much yarn for DK weight shawls. But that's another one I'm looking forward to doing. So I have a few things that I have to look forward to So that's good. And I also, just on a day-to-day basis, I always look forward to like the next thing I'm gonna bake, which is silly. I made scones last week. I made lemon scones and they were delicious. They were so good. I also really want to make Russian tea cakes, so that might be what I make this week. On that note though, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Please go watch someone else's podcast, but before you do that, please comment below and tell me what are some things that you're looking forward to when the world returns to itself. And please be safe. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, hopefully in 2 weeks. Hopefully I won't get depressed like I have been the last 6 weeks. So hopefully you'll see me again here soon, and I'll talk to you again later. Have a great day. Go watch someone else's podcast again, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Happy knitting.